Saudi Arabia is hungry for megaprojects, investing billions to transform its desert landscapes into futuristic cities. One of these megaprojects is called Qiddiya, a $40 billion huge entertainment city. Think theme parks, sports arenas, concert venues, and much more, designed to attract tourists and compete with Las Vegas and Disney World. But why is Saudi Arabia, a country known for oil and tradition, spending so much money to build this massive city in the desert? Is it a mirage in the desert, or can they truly create a world-class entertainment destination where none existed before? This is the story about the race to build the entertainment capital of the world. For decades, Saudi Arabia's wealth has flowed from its vast oil reserves. But the world is changing, and not just in terms of demand. The clock is ticking on these finite resources. Experts predict that at current consumption rates, the world's proven oil reserves could be depleted within the next 50 years. Saudi Arabia knows it can't rely on oil forever, and that's where Vision 2030, a strategic initiative launched in 2016, comes in. It's a bold plan to diversify the economy, attract investment, and create a new global identity. Right now, most tourists come to Saudi Arabia for religious reasons, visiting cities like Mecca and Medina. But that's about to change with Qiddiya megaproject. Imagine a giant playground built from scratch right in the middle of the desert. That's Qiddiya. Located approximately 40 kilometers from Riyadh, it's going to be huge. 360 square kilometers or 139 square miles, twice the size of Washington, D.C. And the Saudis are planning to pack it with all kinds of stuff. Think of it as a mix of Disney World, Las Vegas, and a sports fan's paradise all rolled into one. There's going to be a Six Flags theme park with the world's fastest roller coaster, a Formula One MotoGP racetrack, even a Dragon Ball Z theme park ever, plus a water park, sports stadiums, concert venues, whole district for gaming and esports, and even a giant Olympic museum. Qiddiya will have its own neighborhoods, hospitals, and everything else you'd need in a city. They expect over 600,000 people will eventually live there, and by the end of the decade, $64 billion will have been invested in entertainment, aiming to bring in 48 million visitors a year and create 325,000 jobs. So it's no surprise that Qiddiya alone is projected to contribute with $36 billion annually to Saudi Arabia's GDP. We're talking record-breaking roller coasters, world-class sporting events, and immersive theme park experiences. But which attractions will truly put Qiddiya on the map? Let's count down the top 5 must-see destinations. Six Flags Qiddiya. They're building a massive Six Flags, the biggest one in the entire Middle East. Spread over 79 acres, it's going to have 28 rides across 6 themed zones, including the Falcons flight. This monster of a roller coaster is going to be the fastest, tallest, and longest in the world. Imagine soaring to 607 feet, then dropping over 600 feet at speeds up to 155 miles per hour in a track stretching about 2.7 miles. Qiddiya Speed Park. Then there is the Qiddiya Speed Park, a racetrack, but not just any racetrack. It's being built to host Formula One and MotoGP races. Designed by Herman Tilke and former F1 driver Alex Wurz, this track features 21 corners and a whopping 354 feet of elevation change. Features a standout turn called the Blade, which rises more than 20 stories high. Dragon Ball Theme Park. There's even something for the anime fans out there. They're planning to build a theme park centered around the famous Japanese animated series Dragon Ball. The park will be the world's first attraction dedicated to the popular franchise, featuring a massive 229-foot dragon at its center and at least 30 rides. It's set to cover more than 500,000 square meters with 7 distinct zones, each inspired by iconic locations from the Dragon Ball series. Prince Mohammed bin Salman Stadium. But Qiddiya isn't just about theme parks. Sports fans will have plenty to cheer about too. There's a state-of-the-art stadium planned, ready to host major events like the FIFA World Cup, the Prince Mohammed bin Salman Stadium. Although specifics are still emerging, it promises modern amenities and is designed to enhance every event experience. It's part of the kingdom's push to become a heavyweight in international sports. Olympic Museum. And if you're into history and sports, celebrating the spirit of the Olympic Games, Qiddiya is building the world's largest Olympic museum. You'll be able to learn all about the Games and see some incredible artifacts. But building a city this big and unique in the desert is a huge challenge. How are they doing it? What obstacles are they facing? Let's dive deeper into the world of Qiddiya and find out. One thing you're surely familiar with is the fact that Saudi is majorly a desert. This mega project will be no exception. In the Saudi desert, temperatures can soar up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not only dangerous for workers, but can also damage construction materials. To deal with this, work often happens during the cooler parts of the day, and special shading and insulation materials are used to keep things safe and protected. Sandstorms are another big issue. These storms can disrupt work, damage equipment, and create safety hazards. To manage this, builders use temporary barriers and dust control methods like wetting the sand to keep it from blowing around. Water is also a major concern because it's needed for things like mixing concrete and controlling dust. In such a dry environment, water conservation is quite important. This includes recycling water on site and finding alternative sources like desalination or rainwater harvesting. While other desert projects also face challenges like extreme heat and water scarcity, Qiddiya has its own unique difficulties, such as more frequent sandstorms and a complex terrain with two plateaus separated by a cliff. To overcome these obstacles, Qiddiya's developers are using smart technology and sustainable practices. For example, they're incorporating solar and wind energy to power the project, which fits with Saudi Arabia's goals of reducing reliance on fossil fuels. They're also using advanced materials that can withstand the harsh desert conditions, such as heat-reflective coatings and earth-based insulation. But these aren't the only challenges Saudi Arabia is facing. Some critics say the kingdom's focus on hosting major sporting events and entertainment initiatives is a way to divert attention from ongoing human rights issues, like the repression of dissent, the treatment of women, and the conflict in Yemen. They believe these events are meant to overshadow these serious concerns with positive media coverage and international engagement. Human rights organizations have also documented several violations in Saudi Arabia, including the imprisonment of activists and harsh penalties for those advocating for reform. For instance, female activists have faced severe sentences for promoting women's rights, which contrasts sharply with the kingdom's efforts to present a more modern and progressive image. Critics argue that the Saudi government is using sports to create a facade of modernization while continuing to suppress dissent and maintain strict control over civil liberties. Another major concern is the environmental impact of megaprojects like Qiddiya, part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 initiative. These large-scale developments can lead to habitat destruction, increased carbon emissions, and water scarcity, especially in a region already dealing with environmental challenges. In response, Qiddiya's developers have issued an ESG report, committing to sustainability. They aim for net zero carbon emissions by 2060 and plan to use measures like wastewater treatment and organic waste recycling. Financial risks are also a significant issue for Saudi Arabia's ambitious projects. The kingdom has borrowed heavily to fund its diversification efforts. While public debt levels are still manageable, there are concerns about the long-term sustainability of these financial strategies. In response to these criticisms, Qiddiya's developers argue that the project will create significant economic opportunities, including over 325,000 jobs, and promote inclusivity by ensuring that women hold a substantial number of leadership roles within the workforce. Qiddiya faces its share of challenges, but the project is forging ahead. So, what is its current status? Undoubtedly, Qiddiya City is making great progress, with its flagship Six Flags Park nearly 75% complete and expected to open in mid-2025. The racetrack, originally expected to open in 2023, is now gearing up for a 2027 debut. Aquarabia, the main water park, is 61% finished and will open around the same time. While some timelines may stretch into 2033, the anticipation for Qiddiya's full debut is growing. It's set to become a game-changer in entertainment and leisure. And in no time we'll be seeing Qiddiya as one of the top global tourist destinations, supporting Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. Qiddiya is on track to set a new standard with its focus on sustainability and innovative entertainment. As the opening dates get closer, the excitement is growing. Qiddiya is shaping up to be a real game-changer in the world of entertainment, and the future looks promising. If you're excited about what's coming to Qiddiya, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Stay updated on all the latest news and be the first to know when the doors open.